Wittgenstein. And I mean, if you think of the two things Ernest really hated alongside other things, uh, one was Oxford linguistic philosophy, about which he wrote in Words and Things, and the other was late Wittgenstein. Now, what unites those, as you know, is that they are both highly relativist
Mm.
and contextual. I mean, boiling it, oversimplifying it, Oxford linguistic philosophy is the chit chat, the conversations, the narratives, as they would now say, of people sitting on Oxford high tables who are not allowed to talk about anything serious because it would lead to arguments. So, you know, they sit around for hours every day talking about nothing. They just talk about the meaning of meaning and the meaning of meaning of meaning and words and things and so on. So Oxford linguistic philosophy reduces everything to Austinian speech acts.
Mm.
You know, acts and speech are the same and so on and so on. So Ernest was destroyed it, or at least tried to destroy it all, both by humor and by analysis, and showed that they don't know anything about the world. They've become so separated from it. But, you know, we as philosophers have to deal with real things and move away from that stuff. So that's one thing. And that's, I mean, of course, that is postmodern in the most extreme form. It's just subjective.
Mm.
Um,
I think it was the insularity of it as well, wasn't it?
yes, well, absolutely. But what we've talked about, the insularity of Western philosophy,
Mm.
I mean, if it's bad enough, you know, the whole West and finding that even people like Nietzsche and so on are pretty insular, and Freud and rest. You know, once you get down to Oxford and then you get to Oxford High Table in the 1920s, you know, what more insular could you get? So it's an ivory tower within an ivory tower and so on.
Mm.
The other thing that he hated was the late Wittgenstein. Now, I don't know much at all about Wittgenstein. The only thing I have grasped is that there's an early Wittgenstein, which he found refreshing and interesting and helped him to think about problems. Um, but then, for some reason, and you will perhaps be able to fill us in on this, my folk story in my own mind, without actually looking at it, is that Wittgenstein, after his early phase, got disenchanted with philosophy and then went off and became a stoked boilers or something, or was
A gardener
oh
and a
God,
primary school teacher, amongst
that's
other
right.
things.
Then you know he got to grips with the real world,
Mm.
and then came back into it, and he changed his mind on everything, and he basically took the view that we are trapped within our own concepts, and we can't escape from them. The fly in the fly bottle, and therefore all our thought is very subjective, and it's we can't think. I mean, in famous things, which I don't know if they come from the late period, but about, you know, he always put it in this rather pompous way, which gives it authority, something like, you know, of that of which you cannot speak, be silent.
Yeah, that was from the Tractatus, and I think the really you could characterize it. I mean, it kind of flows nicely from the kind of things you've been talking about. I think the early Wittgenstein is very much trying to work out um, a kind of mathematical, logical model of disenchantment, and then he throws that over and becomes enchanted, and he he thinks, look, we're all in our little enchanted worlds, and that's that. And I think that's what Gellner was refusing. He just it was a bit like when Gellner went to Japan and came back and said they're all trying to fool you. I think that's what he thought that Wittgenstein was doing, and he wasn't having any of it.
Excellent. Well, you've summarized very neatly what I'd guessed, but um, it actually then leads on to um, another